What is your name?
George.
So how the hell did you end up here?
My mum sent me away.
So, Blitz. This is quite a heart-wrenching film about a mother, Rita, and her son, George, who are going through, the first years of World War II for the UK, and in particular London, and the German bombardment of bombs on a daily basis to the people of London and the troubles that brings. Rita decides that George needs to be sent away to the countryside for his own safety, and George decides to jump off a train halfway through his destination, and the film entails his travels back to central London, really, and it's a great look at the war itself, and alongside that, the racism at the time. But Alex, what did you make of this movie upon first viewing?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that surprised me, and we mentioned this, was the rating for the film is 12A, which means it's 12 children over 12 with adults, and it does feel like that in the beginning, and it almost intentionally a bit more brighter in the beginning. And what I mean by that is, besides the action sequence, there's a big massive fire in the beginning, but there's not even the color scheme and the cinematography is a bit brighter in the beginning, because we get to see the happy life that George has, and it's almost like from his point of view, he remembers all those happy moments, and whenever he remembers them, they're bright. So when he sings or sits at the piano with his granddad, and his mother is loving and caring and all of that, but when the adventure starts, let's call it, and when he gets back into London, the little child George, that's when it gets really a little bit intense, and I think that's the part that shines, because this is Steve McQueen is the director of 12 Years a Slave, Buzz, and we know how that looked like. So was that what you were expecting going into this film?
I don't really know what I was expecting, to be truthfully honest with you. I have to say though, the rating, I did notice it was obviously 12 PG, and if you think of a film about probably one of the worst periods in human history, you're thinking you probably maybe should be a little bit higher. I don't know if we needed to see too much gore, but I know where you're coming from with that. But it did hit hard a little bit in the second portion of the film.
Please, Mum, don't send me away.
Here. Your dad would want you to have it.
How do you know?
I know, because that's the kind of man he was. Because you're his son. And it belongs to you now. And it's going to keep you safe, all right? Yeah? Put your shirt on and put your jacket on. Come downstairs, yeah?
I think what it kind of shared in common with like Lee, which obviously we've also reviewed recently as well, is that one of the things it showed was how war can kind of just crush culture, really. Because I think in Lee as well, you notice that there was love, and there was culture, and there was fine food and wine and family, and war just crushes this, and there's quite a few scenes where, like, there's a scene where there's a ballroom, and there's people dancing and laughing and having fun and kissing, and this all gets ended because of the bombings, and it's terrible. But I think when George disembarks his train, about a quarter of the way through the film, comes back into London, you really do start seeing the horrors. Did you think the acting was up to par from the children in the film, that in the early portion?
I mean, the children are children, they're young, but they did an excellent job here, to be honest. especially George, what's his name,
Elliot
Westerman, I think it's his name.
Elliot Hefferman.
Later on, when he does, reality kicks in, he gets back to London, he's lost in London, and the bombings intensify. That's when we get to see not only the racism at the time, but also what humans do for survival, and how much they're trying to cover the desperation that is in them. I mean, when he's forced into that gang of thieves, it's almost like those are the humanity is gone out of them. But at one point, one of the characters actually breaks down when they know that they're using a child to get into destroyed shops, so they can let them in and they can start stealing. And that is very hard. This boy has to do all of that just because he wants to go back and essentially apologize to his mother, played by Rita, played by Saoirse Ronan, which is again very good acting. Did you like her part?
Not to
she's
be
always
undermined.
brilliant in what I think she does.
Yeah, not to be undermined. Absolutely fantastic. Really great role, and they're very vital to this one. And as you mentioned earlier as well, this film has got a subtext of racist culture behind it. You see Rita's backstory, how she got pregnant with George's dad, and how there's a fight sequence that takes place. He gets manipulated into having a fight, and then you think, oh, it can't get any worse because it's like 4 of these white Londoners picking on this black guy, and then when the police come, he's no better, is it? We just automatically assume it's the black fella who started the fight, and then obviously with George himself as a child, even he's subject to racist abuse and stuff like that. So as well as it being a film about how dreadful the war was in London, you've got this also on the other hand, George being ashamed that he's black almost. And I think there's a really beautiful moment in the film where he meets, is it F.A., the Nigerian chap who's kind of his job is to warn Londoners to turn off their lights because it's blackout.
What seems to be the problem here?
This gentleman has put up this sheet to contain us, to put us in a prison within a prison. I have no interest in looking at him, but I do not want to be concealed.
Sir, there is no segregation here. We are all equal members of this country, willing or not.
This is exactly what Hitler is doing. Dividing man against man and race against race. We are in a situation of war. Banded together, asked to do our absolute best. And I would like to think. I'd like to think that we step up to the occasion and see our fellow human beings as equals. And that we treat each other with compassion and respect.
And straight after that speech, George says, you know what, actually, F.A., I am black, and I want to be black. And I think that's like the first moment in his life where he's proud of his skin colour, and I thought that was absolutely fantastic. But, did you think that the ambience of the film was caught well? And also, did you think that the special effects were done in this film? Because I was really impressed with some of the fire in this film and the bombs in this film. It really got inside your heart, didn't it, with the sound, man, of the destruction.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. So sometimes you think these films that do have, from the trailers, they do have a few CGI or massive CGI scenes. You're thinking, oh, here we go, they're going to be forgetting the story and just throw a lot of special effects, good special effects at us. That is not the case. This film knows exactly when to put the special effects in, is not shy of spending the cash on the special effects, but it's not an abundance of, it's not overwhelming the special effects, the scenes with a lot of destruction. They're rightly placed and instead focuses on following the story of these two main characters, the mother and the son. And that is exactly we're in good hands with Steve McQueen directing this piece, because you want to follow the characters inside this crazy world that they live in. So from that point of view, that gets top marks, to be honest.
Yeah, and also we got an interesting guest star appearance from Stephen Graham, didn't we? Which I think we were both quite happy to see. I mean, this guy, it doesn't matter what he's in at the moment, he just completely smashes out the park, doesn't he?
Yes, yeah,
and I think
probably
he only
like
gets
10
about
minutes,
30,
15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes of screen time, and that's it really. But he, that was a bit of a treat to see him play a very sleazy kind of thief, wasn't he? He was taking advantage of the bombings and raiding houses, and obviously he needs George's assistance for this. But yeah, I thought quite a heartwarming film, to be truthfully honest with you. Especially with the outcome at the end and just George's struggle really to get back to his mother. So like you say, essentially it's to apologise, isn't it, for how he left her originally.
Exactly, very indeed heartwarming and very well executed. Thank you for watching a review of Blitz. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you'd like to see something similar and as impactful as Blitz, please watch Lee with Kate Winslet. We'll see you next time.